Welcome back, everybody, to episode number 4 of my ultimate Bloodborne walkthrough. We're going to be doing the Healing Church workshop and also going to the old workshop as well. So we'll go ahead and speed through this as best we can.
Ascend to Erdon Chapel. From there, you will find the church workshop.
Okay, so he's telling us exactly what we plan on doing. That's good. Not always are they going to give you the advice that you want at the moment, but today he's got the good input. Let's go ahead and check out our materials and our item here just to make sure that we've got everything up the way we want it. So yes, and that does have the gems that we want in there. Yep, okay. So let's go ahead and get to the Cathedral Ward. Alright, so not a lot has changed here except for the fact that we have this door open now. So we're going to go ahead and move on through here. Just step on the lift and immediately turn around and just walk towards the edge. This will give you the access to this here, and it's going to circle around, so we're going to be fine. This is a dead end. There is some loot over here. There's no enemies that you have to face, so you're totally fine. This is right at the top of the cathedral. So we're going to get this Formless Odin, and this is going to allow us to have more silver bullets on our character. We can't equip this just yet, but we wanted to grab this either way. There's no way to avoid taking that damage, so just let it happen. Then we're going to circle back around, pull the contraption, and wait for the lift. Alright, let's go ahead and take this bad boy to the top. Once we get off the lift, we're going to sprint forward. Don't get awestruck by that chest. You're going to have to kill this guy first. These guys are pretty decent to farm if you're in need of quicksilver bullets. You're so close to a lantern that it's not too bad to utilize that. We're going to get another rune here. Communion. I believe they're called runes. Let's take a look. Yeah, Carol runes. And then Communion is similar to the one we just got, but it's actually going to increase our blood vial maximum. So both of those are actually very useful for the most part. All right. We're going to want to sprint across here, get behind this enemy, and let him chase us over here so we don't have to fight him with that gunshot going on. Okay, so you'll see the shield guy and a torch there. We've got our pebbles equipped. What we're going to do is, you can get his attention with vision or you can hit him with the pebble. So he'll eventually come out. He might move faster if you hit him with the pebble, but he's going to come out either way, so this is all we want. I don't want to move in there just yet. So I'm taking a little bit of extra precaution, even though this enemy by itself isn't dangerous. So what we can see here is we've got two enemies with their backs turned to us, and that might make you want to sprint in there. Woo! Guy almost got me. Not gonna lie, if you saw the face cam, I would have jumped. Okay, so he's actually what we were just about to bait out by coming to this corner. We would have seen him slightly just to the left of that opening, and he doesn't always come out unless you poke in here and then retreat, but you'll see the rifleman there as well. So what we're gonna do is rush in there, kill the rifleman, and then immediately dodge roll back to safety so we don't get ganked by those two enemies there. So that's what we want. So now we'll let them come to us. Okay. Now it's just this guy left, so this is fine. Perfect. That's really the only, like, dangerous encounter that you're gonna have. We'll go ahead and get this chest here. There are some other tricky fights, but that's the only one that can go south really quickly. Alright. So, there is more stuff to get down below, but we're not going to go there just yet. We're going to start off going up here. Now, if you use this vantage point to your liking, you can see that there's an enemy there with a sword, and they're also a rifleman, I think. I don't know. They don't have the hat. But we do have the wheelchair guy with the Gatling gun. Typically, you want to go for him first to get behind him. However, he's so caught up back there with his melee fighter close to him that we might want to just get this guy's attention real quick. Alright, so as you can see, he doesn't really care about the vision or the fact that the guy's shooting at us. So we can try a pebble. And there we go, that worked good. And again, if you guys aren't playing aggressive, if you play this game more defensively, you're not taking advantage of that health recovery period after getting hit. So you can see we'll take a little bit more risk and take more chances than we would in typical FromSoft games because we can gain so much health back by playing with that style. Now obviously you don't want to get stagger locked or anything, but when it's 1 versus 1 against a regular enemy like that, you don't have to wait for the perfect opportunity to attack. Because if you do take damage, you're going to get that health right back. This is also a game that doesn't reward you for destroying objects like this. You're never going to find a random item just existing in it, like a Zelda pot or something. It just doesn't happen. If there's something nearby or behind it, you'll see it by the illumination of it itself. This guy has a weird aggro to him. He will do that. Like he clearly saw us and kind of walked in, but then he just goes back. So he's definitely under certain kind of pathing. You want to be aware of that because we want to fight him first if possible. There's a guy in a chair and then another rifleman there. If you rush out to fight them, the big boy comes rushing at you, and it's really easy to get knocked off this ledge. So you want to get that guy's attention if possible, because they're not going to pursue you. So what we're going to do is when we get a chance, we're going to hit him with the pebble. Not letting me target him. There we go. That's okay. That's all we want is for him to come after us. I'm not going to pursue. Again, I don't want to fight him out there. Come on, boy. Alright, now the rest is going to be really easy. I'm not going to suggest running out there because the momentum can take you, and it's really hard to land your swings when you're running. So just move forward. You'll knock him off. The same thing with the guy in the chair. Well, somehow he maintained balance. The chair somehow, with all its weight at the backside of it, just managed to hang over. Sweet. Alright, so we can take this ladder up to the top. And if you want to circle around here, you can, but I'm just going to save you the effort, because if you're anything like me, you're going to do it regardless of what I say. There's nothing here to loot. It's only the ladder. So, figure I'd save you all the pain and agony of running around that. I probably do this every playthrough, because I'm like, surely there's got to be a piece of gear somewhere around the corner. Nope. Alright, so let's head over to the left side. And this area does have loot. I think this is Cold Blood. Yep, sweet. And we're gonna go back. As you can see, there's a guy in there. The chair dudes always have some type of projectile weapon. These ones are going to be flamethrowers. Okay, so it says the sky and the cosmos are one, the choir. Some foreshadowing to encounters pretty far away from where we are right now. So it does lead into what we can see off in the distance, but we can't actually get through those doors there. So that's kind of what that note is giving us a little bit of information. So we've got one guy way back in the chair. Obviously, he's not going to be a threat with a flamethrower at that distance, so we don't have to worry about him too much. And then we've got this guy over there. So typically what I would suggest is rushing in, killing this guy in the chair on the left side of your screen, keeping an eye on that guy while defeating him, and then dealing with him last. So let's go ahead and do this. It's nice because they kind of roll towards you. Makes things a little bit easier for you. They're definitely much more aggressive than the other wheelchair enemies. I don't know if it's because they're like thinner or the weapons lighter or whatever it is, but they seem to move towards you a lot quicker than the other ones. All right, so here's what we came for up here. The Radiant Sword Hunter badge, and like all badges, it gives us the ability to get new items. There's nothing in these pots. I've tried. Every single time I've played, I've tried. All right, so we can't get this open. I'm not going to spoil anything. That's for later. We'll deal with that when we can. Again, this game has a lot of dark textures in it, so it is easy to miss loot. So if you're curious and you want to scour areas, definitely do it. But I will 99% give you every item that I can. You know, I might make an error or mistake or overlook something here or there, but I plan on telling you where everything is at all times. All right, so we're going to go back down. And this time, we want to make sure we run to the left, because if we run to the right, we won't be able to kill the little nightmare minion that's going to give us some upgrade materials. And it's totally okay if you follow him down this drop here. So if he runs and falls down here, that's where we're headed anyway, so it's all good if you need to do that. Obviously, you don't want to follow him off the side because you're both going to die, and that doesn't do you any good. Those enemies aren't like crystal lizards where if they die, you just get the loot transferred to your character. You have to actually loot them, so you need to be aware of that and try not to kill them in the out of bounds areas. All right, so our objective here is to get to the old workshop, and it's a pretty easy thing to do when you know how to do it. So we're just going to walk into this center area here. We're going to put our sights on these ropes, and if you look down, if you follow them down, you'll see this platform underneath them that sticks out a little bit. This is the easiest way, in my opinion, to land on that platform without being too concerned. So you just want to line your character up across from it and just walk forward. I know it looks scary and that it's not like gonna be 100%, but I've never failed the drop with that approach. So you're gonna heal when you land, and then we're just gonna walk off the side here to the right. This is all we're going for right now. There's loot in other areas, but you don't be concerned with that because we're gonna come through here. You can't get it all in one swoop. And this going through here will guarantee that we'll be able to travel back. So it's more convenient to do this the first time around. There are no enemies through this door, and it's going to give us 2 insight when we walk through. So you'll see that in a second. So we went from 6 to 8. All right, so let's go ahead. You don't need to use any blood vials at this point. So once you get here, that's why I pointed out there's no enemies, so don't be concerned about your health. You should have damage from the drop. Don't worry about that. This area is just like your Hunter's Dream. It's identical, and there are no items on this lower section here. You'll start getting loot when you come to the Hunter Merchant Bath. You can see here we got the doll outfit. There's a lot of stuff related to the doll here. We get the old hunter bone, and this is going to be a very important item. So you can see here it's grayed out. The art of quickening speeds up rolling and quick steps. The bone of an old hunter whose name is lost. It is said that he was an apprentice to old Gehrman and a practitioner of the art of quickening, a technique particular to the first hunters. It is most appropriate that hunters, carriers of the torch who are sustained by the dream, would tease an old art form like this. Let's continue. We're going to get the umbilical cord here, and we need 3 of these. You can see it's 1/3, so we need 2 more for a unique ending. I won't spoil anything else other than that, but it is important to continue to collect these if you want a unique ending. That is the direction that we will be taking this playthrough, if you're wondering. So if you already know anything about that stuff, then that's the direction that we're headed. Okay, the doll here is inactive. And we'll have one more item in the shelf area here. This is a small hair ornament. We're going to give this to our doll when we return to the Hunter's Dream. But we'll go ahead and take a look at some details for that. A small, very ordinary hair ornament. Although it has been lost for quite some time, one can still see signs of the care with which this tasteful ornament was once kept. Its color would stand out most brilliantly against a head of grayish hair. So before we ever know specifically that it's meant for the doll, the description gives you almost all the information you could ever want to know exactly who we should give it to. And the prompt is really simple. When we approach the doll in our dream, it's going to give us the option to give it to her. So a lot of the items in the game that are character specific for certain NPCs will have that kind of dialogue built into it. So you don't necessarily need to know. You could kind of stumble across it one way or another. All right, so now that we're back at the Hunter's Dream, we're going to go ahead and communicate with the doll.
Welcome home, good. What is it you just...
You can see here is what I was discussing with you a second ago. Give the small hair ornament.
What? What is this? I can't remember. Not a thing, only I feel a yearning, something I never felt before. What's happening to me? Tell me, Hunter, could this be joy?
All right, so in return, we get the tear stone. You can continue talking.
What is it?
It's just the normal interaction at this point. So if you want to level up or anything like that, you've got the opportunity to.
May you find your worth in the waking world.
All right, so that interaction kind of reminded me. I'm not sure why my character sat down. That was a little weird. But if you use gestures in front of the doll, she'll sometimes respond with gestures of her own. So you can see we can bow to each other. And there's many other combinations that you'll get reactions from. So, all right. What we want to do now is go into our inventory and see the item that she gave us. The silver shining tear stone, used to change into a droplet blood gem that fortifies any weapon. A doll sheds neither blood nor tears, and thus its nature remains unknown. Whoever thinks this is precious must be troubled by some severe naivety. So, F you, game, because I think this is a great item that we get so early on. So we're going to want to use this. By breaking that, it's going to give us an upgrade material. So we're going to go ahead and run up here. And what we'll do is blood gem fortification. Put it on our most used weapon. We're not going to replace the red blood gem, but I do want to replace the tear blood gem for the, or replace the tempering blood gemstone for the tear blood gem. So this is going to give us a continual +2 hit point recovery. So this is good, and you'll see that effect underneath my health bar now with that X-ray looking up arrow. So we'll have a continual hit pool, or hit point restoration if we take damage. This is going to give us some good sustain and allow us to save on some of our blood vials if we want to in between maybe drops or some low points in combat, things like that. All right. So now what we're going to do is go back to the Cathedral Ward. Oh, and I do want to point out that we have access to the abandoned old workshop. And this is actually not something that you're probably going to return to, but you have the ability to right now if you want to. Let's say you for some reason missed one of the items. You can get back there, no worries. I'll go ahead and show you how to activate the Chalice dungeon since we're here. So this is the first ritual altar. Use the ritual altar to create a Chalice dungeon with a Chalice ritual, or to search for Chalice dungeons created by hunters in other worlds. So this is a single player / multiplayer optional objective. There's nothing about the core aspect of the game that requires you to engage with Chalice rituals. This is purely dungeon running to get better loot, farm items, go for achievements, things like that, but it's not core. Think of this as extra content. So we're not really going to go over this in the main portion of the guide. I might do a separate thing altogether with Chalice rituals. I haven't decided on that just yet, but I wanted to show you how we do this. And this is the first one here in the chain of many to come. And this right here is just a different altar altogether. You can see it has something completely different compared to the others. All right, let's go ahead and bounce back to the Cathedral Ward. So we're going to go exactly the same way we did before. Our objective this time is to get to the position where we can fall and grab the rest of the loot. So we don't have to do much of any of the fighting as we did. I would suggest killing the first guy in the wheelchair just for the quick silver bullet grab. Anybody else is just kind of unnecessary. So we're just going to run across this bridge, and this time we're going to head towards the right, because we don't need to worry about killing the nightmare creature. It's already dead, and we've looted it. So this time we're going to go around the corner here, and all the way across, and just drop down to this. And if you want, you can take your way around and kind of get an idea of what's below you, but I'm going to try to go the most efficient way. So once you drop down onto this platform, all you need to do is drop down to this one. We're going to go across this skinny piece here, and we're going to drop off and grab this piece of loot. All right, that's just another messenger cosmetic item. So here we're going to drop down below and look off the edge here, and you'll just fall forward. Grab the Madman's Knowledge. If you don't remember what that is, it's just consumable insight. Okay, so down below us, if you want to take a moment, I know it's a little bit difficult to see, but there's some platforms to the left side of the screen, and that's really what we're going to try to go for. You can basically get this by many different ways. You can walk off the edge here, or you can walk off the edge the direction that I'm facing. Just to keep things simplistic, just walk forward off this edge. It's taking you the direction you need to go. All right, so you can see there I just walked as slow as I could, and I still landed on this, no problem. The ground surface area that you can land on is pretty wide. Oftentimes you'll land with 1 foot and you won't fall off, so it's definitely not like a Dark Souls style landing point. Go ahead and heal up before you make your next drop. Now you can see the beast over there by the door. I'll go ahead and face the direction it is. And then you can also see these boxes down below. The boxes, if you fall on them, they're gonna break your fall. You're gonna take less damage, but it's gonna alert the beast. So what I suggest to you is going off in the direction where these platforms are, and if you land on them, great. So I usually just go for the second one because it's not much health loss, and then just drop down. And what we can do is we can walk up to this enemy and get a visceral attack on them. They're not too strong, so you don't need to be like extremely concerned, but anytime you can get a visceral attack on an enemy, that's what you want to open up with. Immediately go into a charge attack again, and you should take them out. The amount of time it takes an enemy to recover from a visceral attack, aka getting up off the ground, is typically the perfect time for you to chain in another strong attack. And it may not give you the visceral attack follow-up, but it should do significant amount of damage either way. So I would always recommend, if you land a visceral attack, immediately start channeling another charge attack if possible. You know, if you're in a controlled situation like this. Like, clearly we're the only opponent down here, so we don't have to be too worried about ganks or anything like that. Alright, so we'll go ahead and open this door. You did see that we got another Carol rune, so we can go ahead and take a look at that here. This one's going to boost the effects of our transformation. We'll get into that later when we have opportunities to utilize that. Alright, so this area I want you to be very careful with. There are what we'll call a Kidnapper enemy. They're like a giant enemy with a big burlap sack. If they kill you, they take you to a very difficult area. Eventually we want to get there, but we don't want that to happen right now. So you want to be very aware of this enemy's location. If we were to walk straight forward and continue around the pathway, they would eventually get the jump on us. We want to avoid that at all costs. This lantern here leads us to some random interaction, non-important NPC. So we're going to go to the left instead of heading straight forward. We're also going to get some outfit items, and there's going to be 2 crows here to the right side of this. So kill those. Grab the sweaty clothes. Just what I wanted. And we've got the dog on the stairs there. Now, if we go to the right, that's where the kidnapper's going to be. So we don't want to spend too much time, but I'm just going to show you. Let me lower the weapon so it's easier to see. Underneath my health area, you can see the kidnapper. They are very, very strong. You do not want to deal with them right now. So what we're going to do is just run up and get the dog. And now we're going to have some traveling enemies. I'm going to suggest go into your extended axe. Oh shit. I thought they were huddled up. I want this guy by himself, because there's going to be some more roaming enemies in a second. So yeah, bringing him over here is good. I should have made the axe smaller when it's just a 1v1. It does make things a little bit difficult. So the problem with turning the corner over here, we want these guys to notice us. We do not want to chase them, because like I said, that kidnapper's there. Okay, so there's an elevator where we're standing right now. So if you walk too far back, it's going to lift you up. But this is where we're eventually headed. You don't want to go there just yet. We've got some more stuff to do. Now you can make life easier on yourself and use like oil and Molotovs in groups like that. I'm pretty confident that I won't die in these situations, so I typically want to save those. But like I showed you in earlier episodes, those are key scenarios where you can use that if you're struggling with enemy encounters like those. Alright, so we're just going to keep moving here. You'll typically, if you chase that wandering party down this corridor, you'll get chased by the kidnapper, because he's basically right around the corner there. So you do not want to aggro him. Now, we've got a really, really tough enemy down here. They don't take much damage. I mean, they're very resilient, and they can stagger you with this spell and deal a shit ton of damage. So I'm going to actually make my weapon long so I can get a charged up attack a little bit closer. See, that's 26 damage. It's nothing. He just tanked right through that. So you want to be really careful with these guys. If they hit you with that spell, it's going to completely immobilize you for a long time, and they're just going to walk up to you and grab you. So you can stagger them with that kind of attack. The funny thing is, I couldn't stagger them with my R2 attack after it hit You want them to try to do those grabs. Those grabs are your best bet because they're really slow. You can see them coming and you just backstep. They've got super short range on that. So this is why we came down here to get the Fireblood gemstone. It's going to be one of our better upgrades that we've obtained thus far. And now we're good. We can just essentially run back to that elevator. Again, don't go down this way. Just don't do it. All it does is lead you back to the area we came. So it's a roundabout way with 2 different alleys to get to. And that's the way we came. And that's that area over there is the way you don't want to go. All right. So we'll head up the lift. And there's going to be an item off right here. Just drop down. Now there will be enemies up there, so you want to be aware of that. Just going to pull this lever. And it's going to open up that gate. Now we've got access to this area from the chapel. So this is good for us. We're going to climb this ladder here and grab some loot. I think this is numbing agent. Yeah, some numbing mist. We'll go ahead and take a look at that. Some of you might not be familiar with this item here. So, thrown to create a mist cloud that numbs a hunter's life essence and prevents restoration of hit points. Said to be used by the blood hunters of Canehurst. Its recipe is a secret closely guarded by the line of nobles inhabiting the castle. So this is really good because not only can it prevent hunters from restoring hit points, this should also be effective against other methods of healing as well. So there's a boss to come in the future that some people might struggle with because of their healing ability. This is something that you might consider using in that instance. All right. So what we're going to do is just drop below. There's going to be one more item, I believe, right around here. Yep. The black messenger hat. And it's not uncommon to get this kind of loot. We're going to get lots of messenger outfits and stuff. I really wouldn't concern yourself with it. It's just frivolous stuff. So we're going to run back into the cathedral here. They will not pursue you inside. This area is truly safe. Very, very, very protected in here. So that's about as far as they'll go, and then they'll back off. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and return to the Hunter's Dream. All right, and then we can go ahead and interact with the doll if you need to channel any blood echoes. Right at this moment, I'm going to be headed towards more endurance. I want to get the endurance up to 20, and then we'll start focusing on more weapon-specific attributes. We didn't pick up any upgrade materials, but we do have the ability to purchase them. So if you're feeling like your weapons are doing less than enough damage at this point, you can sell stuff to get more blood echoes, or you can purchase the upgrade materials outright if you already have enough blood echoes. It's not too expensive, but we get these shards pretty easily, so I wouldn't concern yourself with wasting blood echoes on that. I really like to save my my cold blood for emergencies, so I'm going to advise against that. But again, it's your playthrough, so you do it however you need. I'm only here to give you some advice. Okay, everybody, that's it for this episode. In episode 5, we'll be doing the Hemwick Charnel Lane. If you're not familiar with that, I don't want to give you any spoilers, but it's going to be a good one. It's a pretty hectic area. So I'm looking forward to that, and we'll see you then. Later.